of the takeaways here is that semis are not a monolith, right? Last year was a different story. We saw the rising tide lifting all boats. This year, we have not seen that situation, particularly as we've started to get the earnings reports. So let's run through what we have seen so far. Qualcomm, as we mentioned today, is up about 9%. It's up about 24% year to date here. So obviously impressive performance from the likes of Qualcomm. It's a more mixed picture in today's session, as you see from the heat map of the semiconductors. And if you look at the year-to-date chart for the semis as well, and let's equal weight it just to give a better look, you've seen a number of the stocks that have actually fallen. Intel has been the worst performer among the semiconductors, and then it's been sort of a more mixed picture overall. Let's take a look at the SOX, the Philadelphia Semiconductor Index here, as we have seen it rise year to date. The peak in March here, and since then we've seen a pullback of more than 10%. Contrast that, if we can look at a 2-year chart of what we've seen from the SOX. I mean, basically here you had Nvidia coming out with those blockbuster numbers demonstrating the demand for AI, and it just took off. Everything took off. All of the members of the SMH, which is an ETF that tracks semiconductors, were higher last year. All 25 members rose on the year, helped in part by all of that optimism for AI. But this year, as I point out, you've seen that kind of waning, and you have seen more dispersion within the semiconductor space. And that's because their end markets are different, right? Whereas Nvidia is selling a lot of chips to data centers to power AI, AMD is not yet competing on the same level. It also disappointed in the gaming space. So remember, there's stuff other than AI that is the end markets for these companies. Take Qualcomm as another example. It benefited last quarter largely because of perhaps a trough in demand for smartphones. So you have to remember where these companies are selling chips to and for what purpose.